my message to voters as we are approaching the election dates. Ask this question. This country belongs to whom? Is it to the elites or to us? During BN's era of rule, there were so many conspiracy theories, there were so many accusations, none could be proven because all the agencies, the enforcement, the judiciary, the MACC, all the government agencies were used to cover up and to silence people who were trying to expose. When there was a change of guards, when Barisan Nasional was defeated in G14, Pakatan Harapan took over, albeit short stint of 22 months. But everything came to light. All the injustices, all the squandering, all these scandals and corruption became exposed. So many of really powerful, otherwise invincible leaders of the country were charged, some of them in prison, some headed towards prison, some convicted, awaiting process of appeals. We got to know, at the least, some were acquitted, of course, but being appealed against. But we got to know all these things. Things came to light and we discover how much of our money was squandered and how we have been betrayed. Now, after that, after Pakatan Harapan fell due to the Sheraton move, due to the traitors, the frogs, who again put the kleptocrats in power. Again, there were scandals and corruption. And now at the eve of elections, so much is being revealed by the likes of Rafizi. We have the most recent one, Mangku Bumi scandal, that involves PAS. There are also scandals involving Bersatu. So not only UMNO and Bersatu, those in power, again, are without scruples. They will just perpetuate the rot of this country. Corruption is an endemic or pandemic in this country. And right now, we have several coalitions. We got the Barisan Nasional coalitions who declared that they need to win these elections because otherwise they go to jail. They don't promise anything. They only promise kestabilan dan kemakmuran. We know that's a lie. There's nothing stabil about Barisan Nasional. Tukar Prime Minister berapa kali and infighting among themselves, and now they go solo. They cannot even go to elections with their government comrades like Bersatu and PAS before. So what is stabil? Kemakmuran. We know how the country is in ruins and what kind of a national debt we now have. And we know how poor we are, what a pariah we are to other nations. What makmur are we? How makmur are we now? So that is a lie. That one coalition must be flushed down the drain permanently. And then we have another coalition who says that they are against kleptocrats, against the enemy, but they were the ones who brought down a mandated government and enjoined the kleptocrats, betrayed the mandate of the Rakyat, and formed a government with the kleptocrats. And they themselves, like PAS, is a kleptocrat. They also take bribes. They also award contracts through direct nego. So many scandals, and these are exposed a lot by Rafizi. So now, can you see now, just because Barisan Nasional fell and Pakatan Harapan took over, you see how many scandals that came to light, that we all know, the world knows. Even though sometimes we are prevented to prosecute because the powers are not with the right people, but at least we, the Rakyat, we see how our money has been squandered. Now, at this hour, we are trying to evaluate which coalition. So, I already spoke about Barisan Nasional. I already spoke about Perikatan Nasional. Let's talk about GTA. GTA, what is GTA? GTA, Mahathir, is also alleged to have been instrumental in bringing down Pakatan Harapan. When he can even lend his support to make Anwar Prime Minister, he can support Pakatan Harapan, but he doesn't want to, because at the end of the day, he leads a racist coalition, and his intention is what? He says he's against kleptocrat, but basically when he could, prevail Pakatan Harapan, who are clearly against kleptocrat, He did not. Then we have PH. PH is the only coalition that consistently says they are against rasuah. They are consistently against the corruption. And PH doesn't make all kinds of promises of candies and goodies. PH promises to try to restore the economy so that people have jobs, so the economy becomes better. And PH is the only one that, pledges that they themselves want to feel the pain. The Prime Minister to be also doesn't want to take gaji, and gaji menteri pun potong. Of course, it's not going to change much of our lives, but it shows that, in other words, they don't want us to experience pain alone, because even if they win, we will still experience pain, but they want to feel and experience the pain with us. That is important, because if our leaders feel our pain, then therefore there is urgency, there is priority in trying to resolve that pain. This is what we want. We want our leaders to be in the same boat with us, to be like us, to feel what we feel. And that I sense only from Pakatan Harapan. And that is the only coalition that makes sense. They are not without fault. They have disappointed us in many areas. But all in all, by them coming into power, so many things begin to be put right. They did not set us back. They set us ahead, forward. But we argue and say it's not enough. Well, 22 months, you cannot expect 22 months to undo 60 years of rot. So this is where we are at. Now, but think about it. If BN did not lose and Pakatan Harapan did not win, would we know what happened about 1MDB, about SRC? Will all the things that we know be discovered? So that alone is a reason why it is a blessing to have Pakatan Harapan that won. So now we are considering now, can we afford to have a gangster to become PM? We can't afford that. We try to avoid. So all the messages is about avoiding. Can we afford to have a pengkhianat that can anytime join again the kleptocrats and make the government of the day fall? Again, what we want to avoid. Now, I want to add this one last fact. As it is now, Rafizi is revealing newer and newer scandals that involves not only Barisan Nasional, even involve PAS and Bersatu. More and more scandals is being revealed. How is Rafizi getting hold of this? It comes from the civil service. It comes from people in the government. Because when all these things are done, when our coffers are squandered, it is done through these government agencies. And people, the civil service are ordinary rakyat. They see what is wrong, but they are afraid, but they gather courage and they share it with people like Rafizi. Why? Why Rafizi? Because they've seen that Rafizi is selfless. Rafizi is prepared to go to prison to expose the truth. Rafizi is fearless and he will not back down, and he is dead against rasuah. He cannot be bought. He will not hide it. He will use it at the strategic time, and he has done it before on SRC case. And the most powerful Prime Minister ever, Najib, was brought down and he is in jail now. Started off with whatever Rafizi exposed. And Rafizi also got that from relevant people. This is why people decided whatever the wrongdoings of the government they can save, it is safe to give it to Rafizi. You give it to any other MP or any other person, you don't know what's going to happen to it. You may even be silenced, you may even be killed, but giving it to Rafizi, the evidence is that it came into fruition and the guilty people are in jail. So you can expect more and more to come to Rafizi. Rafizi can at best expose here. He can even tell MACC, but again, what will MACC do when it's under what kind of government? So again, who is the boss of MCC? So now, if the situation changes and Pakatan Harapan come to power again, can you imagine what more will come up and what will surface and what we will discover and what we can take people to account and what monies we can recover? Can you imagine that? Now, can you imagine if Pakatan Harapan doesn't come to power, either Perikatan Nasional or Barisan Nasional comes to power or GTA comes to power? Will we find out or we will never know? And, whatever Rafizi highlight or knows, it can just be something that is just discussed, but it can never be really investigated. So, my question to all voters, ask this, can we afford to miss the opportunity of getting all this corrupted and deceitful theft from our coffers to go undetected and not be exposed and not let it come to the light? Can we afford our monies that has been stolen to never be known and never be accounted for? Can we afford that? If you think we cannot afford that, you think that we need to ensure that whatever monies that was stolen from us, whatever wrongdoing and corruption done by the government after Pakatan Harapan, then you need to know who you should pangkah. You jangan tersilap pangkah. You please pangkah betul. If you draw X at the right logo, and you appoint the right prime minister and the right party to run the country, all this dirt will come to light. And all those who have stolen from us will have to account for it, and they will have to pay the price, and they will experience the wrath of justice. If you don't do that, you pangkah salah. All these people who did whatever Najib did will go scot-free. They may even become menteri, and they will continue to rob and rape this country, and the time will come when we descend into the pits of the lowest form of economy like Zimbabwe, and that point on, do not complain, do not even bother to ask from help from your God, from Allah, especially for the Muslims, because Allah decrees in the Quran, verily, I will not change the fate of a nation until its people do something to change what is within themselves. This is what Allah says in the Quran. I will not change the fate of a nation until its people, the nation's people, do something to change within themselves. What is it that we need to change within ourselves? It is our value system and our realization on what we should choose as governance. It is our realization and our values that will convict us to choose the right people to lead this country and to ensure that whatever wrongdoings and unjust actions are accounted for. If we do right, we collectively vote right, we will get our nation fate changed. If we don't, then do not complain. We will experience misery, continued misery, and we will descend to even a worse state, and we have no one else to blame but ourselves. This is my final message to voters. Please come out and vote. Selamat mengundi. Let's choose the best outcome for this country.